Hello and welcome back to Calming My Compass. Our story today is called The Last Quiet Morning, Finding Solace in a Simple Touch. We're stepping into a moment, a simple, honest moment, captured on a quiet, damp morning. This is Caleb, and this little lamb is named Willow. When you look at this picture, you see a farmer and his flock. You see a man in well-worn jeans, a comfortable plaid shirt, and boots caked with the mud of his livelihood. You see the rich, dark soil, the straw bedding, and the autumn-kissed woods in the background. It is a scene of profound peace and connection, but what we are looking at is more than just a picture. It's the quiet before the storm. This image was taken just days, maybe even hours, before the news arrived that would shake Caleb's life to its foundations. It was before the bank called, before the market crashed, and before the heavy decisions had to be made. Yet, even in that innocence, the photograph holds a beautiful secret. The true strength and resilience that Caleb would need were already right here in his hands, in his heart, and in this connection with Willow. This story is about how the simplest moments become the sturdiest anchors when the storms of life hit. Grab your favorite warm drink, settle in, and let this quiet moment, this simple touch, help us recalibrate our own inner compass. Part 1. The Language of the Quiet Morning. Caleb didn't seek out grand, sweeping moments of revelation. He found his truth in the daily rhythm, the scrape of the pail on the floor, the soft bleating of the ewes, the smell of fresh hay. And every morning he would stop here, by the wooden gate. The truth is, he came for his own peace as much as he came to check on the young ones. He came to watch the sunrise paint the tree line, to feel the cool, damp air clear his mind. This morning, Willow was the one who approached, not demanding, but simply present, leaning into the man's familiar touch. The world talks too much, Caleb often thought. The noise of the news, the chatter of the city, the endless stream of problems, it all drowned out the things that truly mattered. But the farm, his animals, they spoke in a language of honesty and simplicity. Willow's wool was a little damp and soft beneath his fingers. He felt the quick, steady beat of her small heart through the side of her neck. And in that rhythm, he found his own heartbeat slowing down to meet hers. It was an unspoken conversation. I trust you. I am here. And Caleb's reply, in the simple, gentle pressure of his hand, was, I see you. I will protect you. This exchange was a daily meditation, a non-negotiable ritual that charged his internal battery. He was a caretaker, but in turn, the animals cared for him by demanding his full attention, pulling him completely into the present moment. He couldn't worry about the past or dread the future when he was responsible for the immediate well-being of a creature like Willow. His life, he felt, was a series of fences, protecting the herd, defining the pastures, keeping the wild out. But this moment, right here, was where the fences came down, and two souls met in a perfect, quiet peace. He breathed in the cool air, and for a moment, the heavy weight of being Caleb, the weight of responsibility, of a legacy, of owning a struggling farm, vanished. He was just a man with a lamb, and everything was, for now, exactly as it should be. Part 2. The Wisdom of the Flock. The financial worries had been circling for months like buzzards, subtle, unseen, but definitely there. Caleb had done his best to ignore them, to outwork them, to drown them out with long days and longer nights. He'd signed papers he didn't fully understand, trusted systems that seemed too big to fail, and now the reckoning was imminent. But standing here with Willow, the problems felt distant. They were abstract noise, while this small, trusting creature was immediate, tangible truth. The sheep, in their collective simplicity, possessed a kind of wisdom Caleb often envied. They didn't worry about tomorrow's weather, only today's grass. They followed instinct, not complex spreadsheets. When a threat approached, they didn't scatter in confusion. They clustered, finding strength in their unity. Caleb often pondered this. Why do humans complicate everything? Why do we allow invisible threats to erode our tangible peace? Willow was a small, living reminder that life's most essential needs were basic: shelter, nourishment, and connection. He noticed the tiny, delicate pinkness of her nose, the way her ears flicked, listening to the world around them. He could feel the fine, oily texture of her wool, already thickening for the colder months. Every detail was perfect, an act of creation unfolding exactly as it should. This was the blueprint for a balanced life: preparation without panic, awareness without anxiety. He realized that the farm wasn't a business, it was a breathing organism, and his role was not that of a master, but a shepherd, a guide. He decided, in that silent moment, that whatever news came, whatever the loss, he would face it with the same quiet, focused determination that a shepherd uses to guide his flock through a narrow pass. He would be present. Part 3. The subtle shift in the light. The moment stretched on, just a man and a lamb, suspended between the morning's tasks and the day's unknown events. It was in this suspension that Caleb felt the quiet shift, not an external change, but a recalibration deep within his own compass. The anxiety that usually hummed beneath his skin was replaced by a strange, resolute calm. It was a calm born not of ignorance, but of acceptance. He knew a crisis was coming, but he also knew his core values were solid. He looked at the gate, a fence he built with his own hands years ago, each post driven deep into the earth, each slat screwed tight. He'd made it to protect, to contain, but now he saw it as a boundary between the wild chaos of the world and the ordered, purposeful life he had cultivated inside. It was a reminder of his power to create and to protect what was essential. And what was essential? Not the profit margin, not the land deed, but the lives that depended on him and the integrity with which he ran his operation. He took a final deep breath, his hand resting lightly on Willow's head. It was a silent promise. The outside world could take the buildings, the equipment, even the name on the deed, but they could not take this fundamental connection. They could not take the knowledge he held in his hands, how to care, how to build, how to survive. He was a creature of the earth, just like his flock, and the earth was a hard but honest mistress. If she took something, she demanded that he learn to work harder, to be more resilient, to find a different path. The moment ended not with a dramatic flourish, but with a slow, deliberate pat, a final scratch behind the ears. Part 4. The compass points inward. Later that day, the phone call came. It was exactly what he had dreaded, and yet it was also exactly what he had prepared for in that quiet moment by the fence. The farm, the land his family had worked for 3 generations, was under threat. The complexity of the financial jargon washed over him, but he didn't crumble. He felt the familiar weight of the world on his shoulders, but this time he didn't feel broken by it. He thought back to Willow. He remembered the simple, trusting pressure of her small head beneath his palm. He remembered the lesson of the flock. When life is chaotic, you cluster around what is most important. You return to the basics. You don't waste energy on panic. You focus on the solution. His compass, which had been spinning wildly under the influence of fear and external pressure, had finally calibrated itself to the true north of his own inner strength. The crisis would demand sacrifice, unthinkable loss, and an arduous fight. But Caleb knew he wouldn't be starting from zero. He was starting from that moment of connection, grounded in the knowledge that he was capable of love, care, and purposeful work. He had the wisdom of the earth, the honesty of the animals, and the integrity of his own hands. The fight was not over the farm, it was over his right to live an honest, connected life, and that fight he was ready for. The farm may be shaken, but the shepherd and his compass were finally calm and steady. Viewers and listeners, as we closed, this image is more than a memory for Caleb. It's a blueprint for resilience. It reminds us that our true compass, the thing that guides us through life's inevitable storms, is not found in our bank account, our titles, or our possessions. It is found in the quiet, simple connections we make every day, the hand on a loved one's shoulder, the deep breath of morning air, the silent, trusting touch of a creature like Willow. When the chaos of life threatens to overwhelm you, take a page from Caleb's story. Step away from the noise, find your own quiet gate, and reconnect with the core of your purpose. What is your Willow? What is the simple, honest thing that grounds you and slows your heartbeat? Let us know in the comments below. If Caleb's story helped to calm your own inner compass today, please take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend who might need a moment of peace, and, most importantly, subscribe to join our community.